I always believed I truly knew Emily. After all, we'd been married for 7 years, shared the same home, ate meals together, and slept side by side. I thought I understood her expressions, her quiet moments, and her habits. But sometimes you can live next to someone for years and still miss the truths they've kept hidden. That realization hit me one cool September afternoon when I discovered something I was never meant to find. It began like any typical Sunday. I had just finished mowing the lawn while Emily was out shopping. The air hinted at fall, with leaves starting to scatter, and the sky painted in soft orange. Tired and sweaty, I headed inside to toss my clothes in the laundry. While gathering up laundry from our bedroom, I noticed the bottom drawer of Emily's dresser, the one that was usually locked, was left slightly open. Without much thought, I gave it a tug. I wish I could say I hesitated, but I didn't. Inside was a small, neatly folded collection of lingerie. Not the kind you'd expect, but elegant, high-end pieces. The sort you see in glossy catalogs or exclusive boutiques. Soft pastels, bold reds and blacks, lace and silk. All beautiful, all unfamiliar. She had never worn any of them for me. Not once. A lump formed in my throat. Not from anger, but from confusion and discomfort. For a moment, it felt like I was in a stranger's life, not my own. When Emily returned that evening with groceries, I said nothing. I played the part, smiling, helping her unpack. But that drawer stayed on my mind. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept wondering why she'd kept that part of herself hidden. The next morning, over coffee, I finally asked, "Emily, can I ask you something personal?" She looked up, curious but calm. "Of course." "I found some lingerie in your dresser yesterday, ones I've never seen you wear." Her face stilled. She stared into her mug, stirring it slowly, then sighed. "I figured you'd find them eventually." "Why?" I asked gently. "Why haven't you ever worn them for me?" She leaned back, visibly tired. "Because they weren't for you." That sentence hit like a gut punch. I stayed quiet, waiting. Then she continued. "They were for someone I thought I might become, not for you or anyone else. Just a version of me I never allowed to exist." I didn't know what to say. She wasn't defensive, just honest. She stood by the window, bathed in morning light. "When we got married, I thought being a wife meant being a certain kind of woman. Modest, dependable, supportive, and I was, still am. But I buried a part of myself that wanted to feel bold and beautiful. For me. Not to impress anyone, just to remember who I was before I got busy being everything for everyone else. Yes, I felt ashamed. Not because I'd found the drawer, but because I'd never noticed she needed something more." "Emily," I said after a long pause, "I wish you'd told me. I would have understood. Maybe I could have helped." She gave me a soft, sad smile. "You've always been kind, Mark, but I didn't even understand it myself until recently." In the weeks that followed, I began to see my wife differently. Not just as my partner, but as someone with an inner world I had barely touched. We started talking about dreams, regrets, and fears, the way we used to before life got so loud. She began painting again. I joined a photography class. Slowly, we started rediscovering ourselves and each other. One night, Emily held up a lavender lingerie set, not to wear, but to show me. "I bought this 3 years ago in San Francisco," she said. "Stood in the boutique for 20 minutes, asking myself if I was worth it." "You were?" I said quietly. She smiled. "I know that now." Our marriage didn't transform overnight, but something shifted. We connected in quieter places. We grew closer, more honest. Eventually, we took a weekend trip to the coast. Just us. We laughed, remembering who we were before all the roles and responsibilities. On the last morning, I found Emily on the balcony, wrapped in a blanket, sipping coffee as the sunrise touched her face. I used to think marriage meant giving up parts of yourself, she said. Now I think it means becoming more of who you are, with someone who notices. I reached for her hand. I'm paying attention now. She looked at me, grateful. That's all I ever needed. We still faced our ups and downs, but from then on, we met each other differently. Not just where it was obvious, but in the quiet corners of our lives. I never saw her dresser the same way again. Not with suspicion, but admiration. In those delicate fabrics, she had preserved a piece of herself. And instead of being hurt that she hadn't shared it sooner, I felt honored she eventually did. That drawer became a symbol, not of secrets, but of identity, of self-love, of how layered a marriage really is. Emily didn't owe me the version of herself she kept hidden. She chose to reveal it, and in doing so, helped me rediscover a part of myself too. Funny how something so small, something I thought was about her, turned out to reflect us both. And the lingerie, it was never about me. And that was the most beautiful part of all.